Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. We always start by giving our respects to all of our teachers, all teachers. So you have some questions. It's good. It's good if you let me know the questions ahead of time. But I'm ready. I'm ready for a pop quiz. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, if you want to, we can also take these questions, I guess, for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's not multiple choice, all right? So
actually, I can't even come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is the one day a week that I have work meetings.
Okay, that's fine.
Wednesday.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. Now I just jotted down 4 things that went through my mind at some point when you were speaking at some point or another. Besides the first one is just about sankalpa in general. I just have it'd be nice to go over a little bit just for, some parts of sankalpa are pretty simple, easy to understand, but then because every time you see a prayog, you see a different sankalpa, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to understand, why it is the way it is. So sometimes I don't really understand.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you saw the lesson on sankalpa that I made many years ago.
No, I haven't seen it.
I will send you this. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as we know, let's just back up a little bit and let's understand. Okay, whether you are there are 2 types of rituals that are performed. There are many ways of making differences in rituals and things, but I'm going to say there are 2 basic types of rituals. Rituals that you do for yourself and your own family, swarta, for our benefit, and pararta. Pararta means for others' benefit. So when you're in a temple or setting and you're the pujari or you're the archika, or you are acting as a priest for other persons, which are called sponsors. In Sanskrit, we call them yajamanas. So somebody asks you, Prabhu, I don't know how to do a particular thing. Can you help me? Can you assist me in doing this? Yes. Okay. So you're performing for their benefit. So these are the 2 types. These are the 2 types of ceremonies. Okay. So in all the ceremonies, there are some basic preliminaries. So the first basic preliminary that we normally talk about is achmana. Achmana means sipping water and chanting some names of God, some mantras along with sipping the water. There are different achmanas, and there's a whole lesson on achmanas. We won't go into that here because you asked about sankalpas. So achmana, then pranayamaha. Pranayamaha is the next thing. So controlling the breath, and this is also a process of, according to Hari Bhaktivilasa, a process of destroying sin. Pranayamaha. And there are different types of pranayamahas. And again, there's a lesson on that, and we won't go into that exactly here. We'll go to sankalpa. Sankalpa, the word sankalpa means vow or intention. Bhagavad sankalpa means God's intention, God's will. Our will or our intention at the beginning of a ceremony is an external, we say out loud, and usually in Sanskrit, we give all the details of the ritual that we're going to perform, including what the ritual is for, who is going to benefit from the ritual, and also the time and place in the time and place and the type of thing that is going to be performed, and if there are also any smaller rituals attached to it, preliminaries or post-preliminaries, whatever, any other parts attached to it. But we mentioned mostly the main ritual and the main sankalpa. Sankalpa precedes doing any action. Sri Vaishnavas have another thing which they do after the sankalpa. After they say, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this for somebody else, they then have another thing called sattvika tyaga, which is they actually say, no, actually, I'm not doing it. God's doing it through me, and he's doing it for his own benefit. and I don't want any benefit from it. So this is called sattvika tyaga. Tyaga means to give up, and in this case, sattvika, to give up what is given up. Given up, the fruit is given up. So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, sarva dharman parityaja, parityaja tyaja, right? Sattvika tyaga, tyaja means to give up, to reject or abandon. Yeah?
Is that similar to the last prayer when you're doing Sandhya Vandanam?
The last prayer would be what? Kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatmana va prakrite subhavat karomi yadyat shakalam parasmai Sriman Narayanayeti samarpayami. Sriman Narayanayeti, Narayana samarpayami. I offer it all to you, to Sriman Narayana. That's similar. The Tengalai Sri Vaishnavas, the southern school of the Sri Vaishnavas, they simply use that prayer. But there is another specific prayer which Ramanuja has given the paradigm or the example of in his book Nitya Grantha, which is a book that Ramanuja wrote of daily activities, daily worship. It's a type of anikam. The word aha means day. Like we have punyaha vachanam. Punya means auspicious. Aha means day. And vachanam means to declare. To declare an auspicious day is punyaha vachanam. That's another ceremony, a preliminary ceremony, which we will talk about in another class. But this word aha, if we say ahnikam is a book of daily procedures. So there are also another classification of ceremonies is nitya, naimitika, and kamya. Nitya, we know the word nitya, we sometimes say the word nitya means eternal. But in this sense, the word nitya means daily, every day. So in that sense, because we're doing it every day, it's like it's eternal. We have to do it again and again and again, like chanting your rounds. You have to do it today, but you have to do it again tomorrow as well, right? It's when you finish your rounds today, it doesn't mean you're finished. It means tomorrow you have to do it again, right? So that is a nitya karma. That is an activity that is done daily. So that is one sort of thing. So Sandhya Vandanam, our daily puja, whatever it is, ija, we call it ija or puja. Tiruvaradhanam in Sri Vaishnava is called Tiruvaradhanam, the auspicious worship. Tiru means Sri. So Sri Aradhanam. Aradhanam means worship. These are things that go on daily. There are other things which we do daily, other rituals that we do. Bathing, even the Brahmana Bhojana. There are many, many things. Brahma Yagya. If you're a brahmachari, Samhita Danam, the fire ceremony in the morning. If you're a householder, Upasana Homa, morning and evening. These are all things that are to be done daily. But you don't do, a soma sacrifice every day. You don't do a wedding ceremony every day. So there's other rituals which are not done. You don't do a Rath Yatra every day, in the temple. So there's other rituals which are done at certain intervals. So the next one is called Naimitika. Naimitika means it's done on certain occasions, but not every day. And we can go into Naimitika a little bit further. There's some more explanations about what Naimitika means. The third is called Kamya. Kamya means it's not on the calendar. It's not every day, but it's out of some desire. You have some desire to do something. So for instance, King Janaka wanted a son, wanted some progeny. He wanted a daughter. He wanted a child. So he did or King Dasaratha, for example, wanted to have a son. He wanted to have some progeny. So he did what's called a Putra Kameshti Yaga. A yaga, yagya. Another word for yagya is yaga. So Putra Kameshti Yaga. Putra means the son. And Kameshti means Ishti means his desire, right? Like we have a Ishta Devata, our desired Lord. So Karmeshti, Putra Karmeshti Yaga is to get a child. You want a son, you do this thing and you get a son. Okay. So there are these three types. Nitya, daily, Naimitika, occasionally, and Kamya, for some particular purpose. So we'll also be performing for ourselves and for others. We'll be performing one or more of these other. Normally, we don't do nitya karmas for other people. They're mainly for us. So daily things we're doing for ourselves. Normally, we don't do for other people, but it's possible. Okay, in Shastra it actually says, if you can't fast on Ekadasi, you can get your one of your family members to fast for you. Okay. Seriously, yeah, there's it's a little strange, but anyway, but it's you know, it's possible. Okay, so all right. So anyway, getting back to our two types of rituals for ourselves and our own family and for other people. There is the sankalpa, and the sankalpa, the sattvika tyaga is giving up the fruits, but we don't. But normally that's not done in a formal way. Only the northern school of the Sri Vaishnavas, the Vadagalai Sri Vaishnavas, they do it in a very formal way. So what they do is, for instance, before they do Sandhya Vandana, they'll go Bhagavan Eva Swaniyamya Surupastiti Praviti Shashesha Tekarasena Anena Atmana Kartya Swakestra Pakarane Swaradhanaika Prayojanaya Parama Purusha Sarvasheshi Shriyapatihi Sashesha Bhutam Idam, and then they'll put in the word which mentions the thing they're going to do. So they'll say Idam Prata Sandhya Vandana Kyam Swasmai Swashprite Swayameva Karayati. And they'll say the same thing after they finish. So that what they're basically saying in this, they're saying is, I'm not doing it, God's doing it through me, and he's doing it for his own purpose and his own will, and he gets all the benefit. Yeah? So at the end, they say the same thing. Bhagavaneva Swanayamya Swarupastiti Praviti Shashesh Tekarasena Anina Atmana Kartra Swakistra Pakarane Swaradhanaika Prayojanaya Param Purusha Sarvasheshi Shriyapati Sashesha Bhutam Idam Prataha Sandhya Vandanakyam Karma Swasmai Swapriti Swameva Karita Van. Thus it is done. Instead of I'm doing it, now it's done. Or he's doing it, now he's finished doing it at the end. So it's a sandwich.
But this is not performed like that, or they don't do that when they're doing a ceremony for others, right? Because they want they do that. Yeah, they don't do it. They will do it for themselves because that's their philosophy, that's their doctrine. If they do it for others, just like, for instance, I went to a marriage ceremony. In the marriage ceremony, there was one boy who was a Tengalai, who was from the southern school, and a girl who was a Wadagalai. She was from the northern school. So the father of the bride, when you give away a daughter in marriage, it's called Kanyadanam. Danam means to give. Kanya means the little girl. You're giving away your daughter in marriage, right? The father gives her away to the husband. So there's a part in the marriage like that. So when he comes to that part, the father says, this sattvika tyaga, I am giving her away, but actually God is doing it, and God is getting the benefit because Kanyadanam is a punya karma. It's an auspicious thing, and he gets great punya. He gets a lot of merit for giving his daughter away in marriage, right? Instead of just abandoning her or not worrying about her or whatever, he's actually going and giving her to a proper recipient, and getting her married. That's very punya for him. That's a lot of punya for him. So he doesn't want that fruit. So he does that in the marriage ceremony. He'll do that, but the priest isn't doing it for him. But he knows to do it. So when he gives her away, when he says to the groom, will you accept my daughter, before he does the Kanyadana, he has to say, Bhagavaneva Swaniyamya Surupastiti Praviti Shashesh Tekarasena Anina Atmana Kartya Swakestra Pakarane Swaradhanaika Prayojanaya Param Purusha Sarvasheshi Shriyapatihi Swashesha Bhutam Idam Kanyadanakyam Swasmai Swaprite Swameva Karayati. And when it's over, when that part of the wedding's over, he says Karitavan with all that mantra before. So it adds a lot of mantras to every, because if you have to stop each time for every part of every ceremony that you're doing throughout the day, you imagine how much more
chanting and everything you have to do if you have to insert these lines. And the reason for saying it out loud, the reason, just like the Sankalpa, the reason why do we say it out loud? Like you come together with some people and you are going to do some ceremony. So you tell, you know, for instance, you tell somebody that you're going to do a wedding. You tell them, or they ask you to do a Navagraha puja, some puja for some, or they want to do puja to Krishna or some special puja. So you're coming together at a place and a time, and they know what time it is. You tell them, please meet me. I'll meet you at your house, or you meet me at my house. You come, or we go to the temple and we'll do it in the yagshala at the temple. You tell them where to meet. You tell them, you know who it is. All these things are known, but they're not stated out loud. So the point of the Sankalpa is to state them out loud so that other people understand. And it's like a prayer to God. The Sankalpa is like a prayer to God. Oh Lord, Hari Om Tat Sada, Sri Govinda Govinda Govinda, Asyam Subhadito, Sri Bhagavad Gyaya Bhagavad Kenka Yurupam, or whatever form of Sankalpa you use. It always is going to start Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om, oh my Lord. Oh my Lord Sri Hari, this is what's going to happen. This is the place, this is the time, this is the personality who wants to do this, have this done, and therefore we're going to do this. Yeah? It's a formal declaration of what you're going to do. Like in a wedding, you know, they ask the bride and groom, do you take this person for richer or poorer, you know, sickness or health, as long as you live, blah blah blah. And he, yes, I take this person. Yes, I take that person. So it's all very formal. It's formality. So Sankalpa is a formality. It comes Achamanas. So normally we say begin any ritual. Begin any ritual. The Nitya, Naimitika, or Kamya, any of these rituals should begin with Achamana, Pranayama, Sankalpa. So Sankalpa should be there. It's a formal thing. But many times people do things and they don't do a Sankalpa. For example, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, if you read Hari Bhakti Vilas or any book on any of the Puranas or anything like that, there'll be descriptions of different vratas, different rituals or different vows. But it doesn't always have a Sankalpa there for the vow. You can create your own Sankalpas, right? Like if I say I'm going to fast on this Ekadasi, and the next day I'm only going to take food on the next morning, right? Then I can say a certain prayer and do that. Or it's Ramanavami, I'm going to fast all day on Ramanavami. Next day I'm going to take food. Then I'll say that I'm going to worship Lord Rama, you know. Or it's Chaturmasya, or it's Bhishma Panchak, or it's Kartik Vrata. There's a certain vow or something like that. I'm going to Chaturmasya, you know, it's the first month of Chaturmasya. For this month, I'm going to sleep on the floor and grow a beard, and I'm going to do. So all of this can be done in a Sankalpa. And it helps us. It helps us when we say it out loud. It helps us to keep that vow. And as we know, that just like if we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's that story of Shakshi Gopal, that two Brahmins, the young Brahmin, old Brahmin, they were in front of the deity of Gopal, and they said, and the old Brahmin made a vow, I'm going to give you my daughter in marriage to the young Brahmin. And he said it in front of the deity. So the deity became a Shakshi, means a witness. The deity was a witness. So when we do a Sankalpa, what we're saying is, oh God, be the witness. Be a witness for what I'm saying today. I'm praying to you and I'm saying, I'm going to do this. Give me the determination to complete it, to do what I'm saying I'm going to do. Even, you know, halfway through Ekadasi, I'm going to feel like eating, but give me the determination to finish that. And by doing that in an external way, in a very formal way, out loud, we hope that it gives us some more strength to actually do the vow, continue the vow. And many times if there's a set vow given in the scriptures, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, there are many vows given, many sankalpas given, many slokas given, or verses given, explaining. And in the vow itself, it explains what you are supposed to do. So also, whenever you do something, like when you do something, sometimes you do something off off the cuff, off the flight. You're just going to do it. So somebody says to you, "Oh, go and cook the offering." But if you run through in your mind what you're going to do, oh, I have to cook the Lord's offering now. Okay, so that means I have to make dal, I have to make rice, I have to make chapatis, I have to make three vegetables, I have to make a drink, I have to put a sweet there. It has to be a certain type of sweet. If I run it through it in my head before I do it, then it helps me. Some people can just go and do something and they do it perfectly. But if you run through the order of everything, especially rituals, and we know Vaishnava and Hindu rituals can be very complex. If we run through everything in our mind first, if I say in the Sankalpa, okay, I'm going to do a wedding, and also I'm going to do as a preliminary Ganesh Puja or Vishvaksena Puja, and as another preliminary, I'm going to do Nandi Shraddha, and I'm also going to do Punyavachanam. If I run that through in my head, then I realize, okay, now I'm going to do this, now I'm going to do that, now I'm going to do that. So if I just go through that in the Sankalpa, it's like a list, right? A honey-do list or a to-do list, yeah? A list that we have to do. So Sankalpa has many uses. It's a good thing. It's a standard thing. So somebody can do a ritual without a sankalpa. You can do a ritual without a sankalpa. You can probably do a ritual even without doing achmana or pranayam. But it's better, these things are angas of the ritual. They're parts of the ritual. They're preliminaries. And like the preliminary worship of the guru, worship of Ganesha or Vishvaksena, even the Nandi Shraddha, getting permission from the forefathers. There are many things which are preliminaries. Vastu Puja even, before any ritual you can do. So there's lots of things which are preliminaries. Normally we say these are things which are very common and very much done. So Achamana Pranayama Sankalpa. So it's going to be without even saying it. If you look in many of the prayogas, many of the procedure books, right? They're not going to say much about these things. For instance, if you read in Sanskrit, you read the preliminaries to any ritual. It'll usually say dvirachamya. Dvirachamya means do achaman twice, right? Then it'll go pranayamya, do pranayam, right? Which means 3 times usually, or three sets of pranayam. Then it'll say desha kalo sankirtya. Desha kalo sankirtya. Desha means the place. Kalo means the time. Desha kalo means the place and the time. Place and the time. Sankirtya. Sankirtya means sankirtanam is what? Chanting. So sankirtya. So mention the time and the place. So when you say desha kalo sankirtya, it means do the sankalpa. Do the sankalpa, and then it may give a sankalpa, or it may not give a sankalpa. So you have ritual texts because somebody's not an expert and knows everything about ritualism. So he's going to usually follow a procedure which is written by somebody else, and that procedure is coming from Shastra. So you have a Shastra which talks about certain rituals, and some great people who understand rituals very deeply, they've taken that and they've written it out in a longer form, and they've given it in the form of a prayoga. So you have, for instance, you have a Padma Samhita, which is a text of the Pancharatra Agama, and it gives all the pramanas for doing different things of types of worship. And from the Padma Samhita, people make a book called Padma Prayoga, Padma Tantra Prayoga, right? And that Prayoga is more details. You've taken the information in the Samhita, or Haribhaktivilas is like a Samhita for Gaudiyas. You read it; it doesn't tell you step by step how to do the ritual, but it tells you about the rituals and it gives you some information. From Haribhaktivilas, you have to then make something. It's very similar to ISKCON and how they had the Archana Paddhati, and people took the Archana Paddhati. They saw it. Oh, we can't use this the way it is. We have to rewrite it and we'll write it for our own temple, and we'll put it in plastic sheets, and then we'll give to every pujari what he needs. So the pujari for Radha Krishna will get this, the pujari for Krishna Balaram will get this, the pujari for Vanitai will get this little book, and this will be step by step for this person, like a cookbook style. That is a prayoga, whereas the original book from which the information is taken is called a samhita. So we have a prayoga. So sometimes in the prayoga, it'll be written out. The sankalpa will be completely written out for you. And all you need to do is you need to plug in certain items. So in Sanskrit, sometimes you have, if you see here in the second paragraph, I've mentioned a word. Here, I'm highlighting it. There's a word there called amukha in Sanskrit. And amukha means, in Sanskrit, there's no punctuation, okay? There's just a danda and a double danda. So there's just a line at the end of a half verse where you breathe, like a comma in English. And there's two lines at the end of a verse, which is like a full stop or a period. So that's the only punctuation you really have in Sanskrit. So we don't have.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
You know how to make this bigger? I don't know how to make it bigger because I can see what you're sending me here.
Oh, you make it.
I can't actually read it because it's too small. But I gotta see if I can figure out how to.
Okay, I can make it bigger.
Oh no, I got it.
Oh, you made it. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
So here's this book here. Okay, so this is a word, amukha. So amukha means such and such. Can be translated as whatever or such and such, right? So when you read a sankalpa in a prayoga, it's not going to be complete. Even if they give you all the steps and all the formalities and things for doing the wedding or doing whatever ritual you have, even if they give you in Sanskrit, or like with the Satvika, like I said, at a certain point, you have to plug in the name of the ritual that you're going to do or that you just did. So in the case of a sankalpa, there'll be different blanks. In Sanskrit, they don't put a line, a blank, usually. In old books, old Sanskrit books, they don't put the line. They just put a word, amukha, and it means, so for instance, if I say, I am going to perform this ceremony, this blank ceremony, at blank, in the year blank, in the month blank, in the fortnight blank, under the star blank, on the particular lunar day blank, right? Yeah, for the person, the sponsor, whose name is blank, and his wife blank, right, of a certain blank gotra, right? So you have to fill in all the things. So you talk to your yajamana before, you talk to the sponsor, or you know your own details. So I know if I'm doing Sandhya Vandanam, and if I do a sankalpa for Sandhya Vandanam, then I'll say, I have to do for myself, right? And I'm of Kausika Gotra and Apastamba Sutra and like this, and I can plug that in. And I'm doing it today. Today is the 9th day of the moon, of the dark fortnight, of the month of such and such, of the year such and such. So all these things you have to know. So Sankalpa, the very first thing that you should be studying before Sankalpa is you need to study a little bit about Panchangam. You have to know how to mention the months, the days, the fortnights, the yogas, the Karnas, the titis, the lunar days, the different aspects that are going to be plugged into the Sankalpa. So there's another lesson on that. We won't go into that because that's all very technical. Okay, but basically, to start with the first understanding of Sankalpa is that people have different ways of doing Sankalpas, and the way they do the Sankalpas, it's more or less according to the Sampradaya or the sect within the Sampradaya. They have slightly different ways of doing the Sankalpas. So if you see here, I've given the example of 3 or 4. I've given 4. I've given a typical Sankalpa for the Southern School, Tengalai Sri Vaishnava, a typical Sankalpa for the Wadagalai, the Northern Sri Vaishnava, then a typical sankalpa for Gaudiya Vaishnava, and a typical sankalpa for like a Madhva Vaishnava. And there's also going to be, further down, a typical sankalpa for Smarta. Now, a lot of times you're going to get a book, or you're going to get a procedure which is printed by Smartas. And it's not that all Smarta rituals are wrong, and that Vaishnavas don't do Smarta rituals. The word Smarta doesn't mean that he's more intelligent. What it means is a person who follows Smriti, which is Shastra. Shastra is Smriti. There's different types of Shastra. There's Nigama and Agama. So Nigama means the Vedas, and Agama means the Puranas, Itihasas, all these, everything else, right? Agama, right? So Pancharatra Agama, Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, any of these, if there's any ritual in any of these books, other books, that is not an Upanishad or Samhita, right? A Vedic. Mostly we're not doing Vedic ceremonies, okay? Mostly we're doing agamic ceremonies, tantric ceremonies, or non-Vedic ceremonies, or Shmiti ceremonies. Okay, so these, I forgot what my point was exactly on that. Okay, so there's agama and nigama, right? So anyhow, so we do a sankalpa for either one. I had a point that I was going to make about that, but okay, smarta. Yeah, smarta means that he follows the Shmiti. So we're all following Shmiti. Everybody's following Shmiti. No, nobody is rejecting Shmiti. If you reject Shmiti, it means you're only doing Veda. You're only Veda. Who is doing Vedic sacrifices nowadays? Nobody's doing, right? Hardly anybody's doing, right? So everybody's following Shmiti. Everybody's following the Puranas, the Agamas, Pancharatra Agamas. Okay, so we're all smartas to a certain extent, more greater or lesser extent. The reason why we call a specific group as smartas, right? Although we also follow Shmiti, we also follow the Shmiti Shastra, so we're also in a sense, in a greater sense, we're all smartas. But the reason we call a particular group as smartas, those people who follow the rules of the Shmiti 100%, or they're supposed to follow 100%, and they also follow the Advaita doctrine of Shankaracharya and the Panchopasana method of worship. Those people are specifically called smartas. And in terms of sects, there are in South India there's eight different types of smartas. We won't go into it, but there are smartas who worship only Vishnu. There are smartas who are interested in worshiping Vishnu as the greatest Lord or something like that. These people are usually called Vadamas. So it's said in South India, at least, they say if you need to get a Vaishnava priest, if you're a Vaishnava, you want to get a Vaishnava priest, and no Vaishnava priest is available, your second best bet is to get a Vadama, because that person is a smarta, but his devata, his Istadevata is Vishnu. He worships Vishnu, because different smartas will have different Istadevatas. They'll have different main deities that they worship. Some smartas are worshipping mainly Shiva, some worshipping mainly Devi, some worshipping mainly Ganesh, some worshipping mainly Surya, okay? Some worshipping even Kartikeya, Skanda, Subramanya, mainly. But there are smartas who mainly worship Vishnu. So I don't know if you know about Panchopasana. Panchopasana, Prabhupada calls it Panchopasana or Panchopasana or Panchayata. It's called Panchopasana or Panchayata. If you look it up in Prabhupada's books, he speaks about, it's a system of puja that was taught by Shankaracharya, where you take 5 main deities, 5 or 6, sometimes 6, 5 main deities, Vishnu, Shiva, Devi, Ganesh, and Surya. These 5. And the smartas, the Advaitins, the Mayavadis, they believe that these are the main aspects of the impersonal Brahman. Okay? So they worship all 5. And they put them in a square with one in the middle. So 1 in each corner and 1 in the middle. So the one in the middle is their favorite one. So there are 5 types of smartas according to this system. So one smarta will put Ganesh in the middle. That's his favorite. One will put Vishnu in the middle. One will put Shiva in the middle. there are different charts. Like if you put Ganesh in the middle, then Shiva has to go in the southeast, or the Vishnu has to go in the northeast. There's specific charts like that. There's like 5 charts. If anybody's interested, I can explain it to them. But there's a traditional system of panchayata or panchopasana. Pancha means 5, and how to arrange the deities in a way. And you go into some temples in India, you'll see the 5 deities sitting in a certain square with one in the middle. Okay, so like I said, these Vardamas, they put Vishnu in the middle, and so they are mostly worshipping their main deity is Vishnu. So it's second best to get a Vardama if you can't get a Vaishnava priest for a Vaishnava ritual. Okay, so here are the different sects, and here are the different sankalpas. So we can go through it. Just interesting to go through it. The southern school of the Sri Vaishnavas, the Tengalai branch, they say Sri Bhagavad Agyaya, Bhagavat Kainkari Rupam, or Bhagavan Kainkari Rupasya, or something like this. Bhagavat Kainkari Rupam, Amukha Karmam Karisye. Okay? So what it means is, upon the order of the Lord and for his service, I will perform such and such act. The verb here is karisye, right? Now, there's a difference in the verb, there's a difference if you do the act for yourself or if you do it for another person. When you make a sankalpa, if you say karisye, it means I do it. I do it for myself. And there's another form of the verb if you do it for somebody else. Right? Okay, so we won't go into the technicalities of the Sanskrit grammar, but normally what will happen in the beginning is when you start to use sankalpas, we'll explain to you here, this is the form it has to be in if you're doing it for yourself. This is the form it has to be in if you're doing it for somebody else. So then we have to fill in, you see the word amukha there. You have to fill in the blank there. That's instead of putting a blank in the old manuscripts, they put amukha. So amukha means you have to put something in there. So what has to be put in there? Amukha karmam, amukha karma. The karma means the action. So what action are you going to perform? If it's a marriage, you have to say vivaha karmam. If it's okay, so here comes Devarishi. I'm going to add him. So if it's a marriage, you have to say vivaha karman. And if it's some other ritual, whatever ritual it is, you have to say the name of the ritual like that. That's very simple. Very simple. We haven't mentioned the time or the place or the people involved. We're just mentioning the act itself, which has to be done, the main act, not even the subsidiary acts. We don't even mention that Ganesh Puja and these other things have to be done before. Just mention the main act. So my suggestion is when you're starting to use sankalpas, you start with a lagu sankalpa, a small sankalpa, right? There are maha sankalpas, which involve pages and pages of descriptions of the place that you're living in terms of Vedic cosmology, on what part of what varsh of what island in the universe you're living on, and what yuga what day of the week in what yuga you're living in, So there's mahasankalpas for sure. There's really big ones that go for pages and pages. But first thing is to start off small. So there's lagu and there's guru. There's lagu, there's small ones, and there's big ones. So we start with a short sankalpa. So this is a very short, simple sankalpa for Tengalai Sri Vaishnava. The northern school, Vadagalais, they say something different. So you notice the Tengalais, because of their conception, they say Bhagavad Agyaya, Bhagavad Kainkaya Rupam. Agyaya means order. Kainkaya Rupam means the form of service. It's a form of service. So there are 2 reasons that the Tengalais say they're doing anything. They're doing it because it's the order of God. He orders it to be done in the Shastra. In the Shastra, it's written, do this. And why do we do it? We do it as a service to him. We don't know if it'll please him or not, but he says to do it. It's his order, so we follow his order, and we do it as a service to him. That's all. That's their mentality. So then the northern school says, Sri Bhagavad Gita, you can see here, Sri Bhagavad Gita, Sriman Narayana Prityatam, Amukha Karmam Karishye. So the same three words at the end, Amukha Karmam Karishye, I will do such and such work, or such and such ritual or karma. Yeah? So it starts out a little bit different. Sri Bhagavad Gita, Sriman Narayana Prityatam. Okay. So Sri Bhagavad Gita sounds like the same as the Tengalites. But it's the order of God. So it's in the scriptures, it's the order of God. Secondly, Sriman Narayana Prityatam. We're doing it for the Prityatam to please Lord, to please Sriman Narayana. We're doing it to please him. Okay. Right. So then a Gaudiya we don't necessarily see. There's more complex Gaudiya ones, but a simple one would be just Amukha Karma Karishye. I'm doing this karma. We can add other things to it. If you want to add, this word Prityatam means for the pleasure of. So like you're in a temple and the deities in your temple are Radha Shama Sundar. So you want to please those deities. So you might say, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar Prityatam. Right? Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar Prityatam Maha Abhishekam Karisye. I'm going to perform the Maha Abhishekam for the pleasure of Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar. Like that. Yeah. So this word Prityatam is a good word to learn. You can add that, so you can put the names of the deities in there, or if you're doing a Navagraha Pujam, you can say Navagraha Prityatam, or if you want to do Sri Krishna Prityatam, then there might be some other people in Gaudiya Sampradaya, they might add something more complex, like they might say, my purpose in doing this is to attain Krishna Prema. So whatever it is, whatever your purpose is, you should state that. You can state that. That's fine. And you just have to put it in Sanskrit. Okay, so now moving on to the Madhvas. The Madhvas say, Sri Mukhya Pranantaragata, Sri Vishnu Preranaya, Sri Vishnu Prityatam Amukha Karmam Karishye. Okay, so what they're saying is, on the order of Lord Vishnu, it's very similar to the way the Sri Vaishnavas say it, on the order of Lord Vishnu, and including Lord Mukhya Prana Vayu, which is they say Vayu is the greatest devotee, right? The slogan of the Madhvas is Hari Sarvotama. Hari is above everybody. Sarvotama. Sarva Uttama. He's Uttama, above Sarva, everybody. Hari is Sarvotama. Hari Sarvotama. They say Vayu Jivottama. Out of Jivas, Vayu is Uttama. Vayu Jivuttama, right? So, and Madhva, Hanuman, Bhima, and Madhva are incarnations in the different ages of Vayu, Lord Vayu. So Vayu is the greatest devotee for them. And Madhva is an embodiment of Vayu. So Avatar of Vayu. So that's why they include him there. That is very much focused on worship of Lord Narayana or Lord Vishnu, but also Vayu. Okay, so that's why they put that in there. And they also say in there, Vishnu Prityatam, Sri Vishnu Prityatam, for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. So they're also using this Prityatam word. And the Smartas, here comes the Smarta, typical Smarta Sankalpa will be, Mamupata Samasta Guritakshaya Dwara Sri Parameshwara Prityatam Amukha Karma Karisye. Okay, so it means for destroying the sins. Duritakshaya, Kshaya means destroying, right? For destroying the sins acquired by me, and Sri Parameshwara, they say Parameshwara. Parameshwara normally means Shiva. Parameshwari would mean Devi, the feminine form. Parameshwara, but Parameshwara actually, if you look at it grammatically, it means Parama. Parama means supreme, and Ishvara means God, right? Supreme God. So Parameshwara, if you say it to people, normally they think it's Shiva. They think Shiva. If you say Ishvara, it normally means Shiva. But it can mean also Vishnu. Parameshwara, the Supreme Lord, is Vishnu. So if you understand it like that, so Parameshwara just means the Supreme Lord. Whoever you conceive of as the Supreme Lord, is Parameshwara. So that's why the Smartas, they say like that. The Advaitins, they say like that. Whoever you think of as the Supreme Lord, let us make him happy. Prityatam, satisfy him. So, for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, I will perform such and such act. So, those are very simple sankalpas. I give you an example in the next page of more complicated sankalpas. So,
could I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you mentioned, for when you're doing the ceremony for yourself, that usually you say kadishe. But then for others, because most of the ceremonies or a lot of ceremonies that we end up doing are for others. So is there an easy way to switch that kadishe to make it for others?
Yeah, there is. It's not coming to me right now, okay, off the top of my head. Because I wasn't expecting to talk about sankalpas today. But, okay, so... Let me find out the answer to this question in more detail, because it involves Sanskrit grammar and I have to look it up. I should know this, but it's like I wasn't expecting to discuss this today, and I was just looking at the it doesn't explain it in the lesson that I've written here. So yeah, I have to look it up. Yeah, sorry, it's just not coming to my mind. I know it, but it's just not coming to me. So I understand the question. It's a very important question, and it's a very simple answer, but it's just not coming to me right now. Okay, so all right. So anyway, so to go on, a more complicated, elaborate sankalpa will include the name, as I said, Deshakalo Sankirtya. It'll include the name of the place and the name of the reference, the time reference in Vedic cosmology and Vedic chronology will be given, right? So, for instance, here I've given a couple of a Smarta and a Vadagalai elaborate sankalpa, and down the bottom I've given a Smarta one. If you look at the Smarta one, Hari Om Tat Sat. So a lot of people start with Hari Om Tat Sat. A lot of sankalpas start with Om Tat Sat. In North India, many sankalpas start with Om Vishnu Om Tat Sat. So in North India, Om Vishnu Om Tat Sat. I've seen some Gaudiya sankalpas like that, Om Vishnu Om Tat Sat. So it could be Hari Om Tat Sat or Om Vishnu Om Tat Sat or Hari Om Tat Sat. Okay. The Sri Govinda normally is a Vaishnava thing. So, but somehow or other I put it here as this part of this example of Smarta. I don't know why. Mama Upata Samasta Dudakshaya Dwara Sri Parameshwara Prityatam. That's all the same as what I talked about before in the Smarta. Yata Shaktya. With Yata Shaktya means to my ability. It's with strength. Right? Amukha, right? Amukha means such and such, Deva or Devi. For this god or this goddess, for this Devata, Prasada Siddhyartam, for the pleasure of this being, this demigod, right? Shora Shupachara, Pujam Karishye. I'm going to perform the 16 article worship, or the worship of 16 services, called Shora Shupachara. Right. Now in the more elaborate ones, we're getting actually, if you look at the smarta here, Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Govana 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 Mahapurushasya Vishnu Ragyaya means the order of Lord Vishnu, the Mahapurusha, right? Pravatamanasya, right? We're going to be talking about the time calculation here. Adya Brahmanaha, in a particular of Lord Brahma, Dvitiya Parade means the second half of Lord Brahma's life. So Brahma lives for Chaturmukha Brahma, four-headed Brahma. He lives for 100 years, and 100 years of the demigods, 100 years of Brahma. So we are now in the second half of his life. He's over 50. Then we say Svetavaraha Kalpa. So out in the second half of Brahma's life, there's a Kalpa called the white boar Kalpa. So Varaha means a boar. So there are two incarnations of the Lord as Varaha. There's the Svetavaraha and the Raktavaraha. So there's a white boar and there's a red boar. So we have come in the Kalpa of the white boar. So Svetavaraha Kalpa, right? Now getting down in the Kalpa, there's different manus. There's time is different manus. So we are under the rule of Vaivashvata Manu. So we say Vaivashvata Manvantare. That means in the Manu of Vaivashvata Manu. So there's different Manus, Swayambhuva Manu, different Manus, okay? So we are under the Vaivashvata Manu. Then we say Astavimsati Tate Kali Yuga, or sometimes we say Kali Yugasya, right? Kali Yuga is locative. Kali Yugasya is, which means in Kali Yuga. Kali Yugasya means of Kali Yuga, right? So what Kali Yuga is it? It's the Astavimsati Kali Yuga, the 28th Kali Yuga. We are in the 28th Kali Yuga now, from the beginning of the Vaivashvata Manu's reign, in the Kalpa of the white Varaha boar, right? In the second half of Lord Brahma's life. Okay? So then it says Pratame Pade, or it could say Pratama Pade, but Pratame Pade, again, locative, in the Pada. Pada means a section, right? When you have a verse, you have 4 lines in a verse, right, or a sloka. The first line is the first pada, second pada, third pada, fourth pada, right? So pada just means a section. It actually means a foot. So 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot. So, okay. So the first, pratama means first. So pratama pade means the first section. So we are in the 28th Kali Yuga, right, of Vaivashvata Manu's reign, in the Kalpa of the white boar, in the second half of Brahma's life. We're in the first part of that Kali Yuga, the Pratama Pade, right? We're not in the end of Kali Yuga. Kalki's not around. We're in the beginning of that Kali Yuga. Because Kali Yuga goes for a long time, but we're in the beginning of that Kali Yuga. Then we say, so then we've identified, more or less, we've identified using Quranic chronology. We've identified the age that we're living in, the part of the age that we're living in. Then we start to say where we're living when we're doing this ceremony. Jambu Dvipe. We are on Jambu Dwipa. We are on an island called Jambu. We are in Bharatavarshe, Bharatakande. So Bharatavarshe is a Varsh, which is a bigger thing, and Bharatavarsh might be is a Varsh called Bharata, and there's a Kanda. One of them is bigger and one of them is smaller. So for instance, we might say that the Bharatavarsha is the whole earth. So we might say Bharatavarshe, America Kande. You know, we're in America. right? I'm in Hawaii. So what I say is I say, Maui Dvipe. I'm on Maui, the island of Maui, right? And I say, Pacific Sagara Madhye. I'm in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So you can use all these terms. You can just plug in the terms. So if you're in Alachua, you're in Florida, you can say that you're in Alachua Mahanagare, right? You were in the great town of Alachua, right? Alachua Mahanagare, right? Yes.
Yes.
And there's unlimited things you can do, but you have to say it in Sanskrit because that's the ritual language. All right. So then you add things like that. So okay. So then Meroho Dakshine Parshve means that this country that I'm living in is south of Mount Meru. So if you're in America, you might want to say you're west of Mount Meru, or you're east of Mount Meru. Or if you're in Australia, you might want to say you're very far south of Mount Meru, whatever it is, wherever Mount Meru is, conceivably. Salivahana Shakabde, right? This has got to do with Shakabde means is a type of counting the years. Asmin Vartamane Vyavaharike Prabhavadi Nam. This has to do with the year. Prabhavadi Nam Shastayaha. Okay, there are 60 names of years. Right? The normal human life is considered to be 120 years, 2 cycles of 60. And why 60 years? These are called Jovian years or Jovian cycles. So the planet Jupiter, or Guru, in Sanskrit we call this planet Guru. The planet Jupiter circles the sun once in 60 years. Yeah? So each one of those years has a name. And has some qualities also, but it also has a name. And then the cycle changes. So you have to know the name of the year. There's a specific name of the year. Right? So when it says here, Samvatsarana Madhye, we are in the middle of that year, Amukha Samvatsare. Amukha Samvatsare means the year, the Samvatsara, is Amukha, is such and such. So this year has got a name. Next year will have another name. The year after that will have another name. And this year's name will be the same name 60 years from now when it comes around again in cycle. So in the other lesson where I teach about Panchangam, I teach all the blanks, all the things you can plug into the blanks. Right? We should know by looking at the Panchangam. Panchangam means a calendar. There are 5 things in a calendar. Do you know what the 5 things are in the calendar?
I can guess.
Titi, Yoga, Vara, Karna.
Okay.
Titi, Yoga, Varna, Karna. Titi, Yoga, Vara, Karna, and Masa. Very good.
Masi.
Thank you. Thank you, Devarishi. Okay. So the month, Masa. The Paksha, Titi means the lunar day. Vara means the day of the week. Karna and Yoga are more technical. They're parts of the day, right? So just like there are different muhurtas, there are different yogas, there are different karnas. These are different parts of the day, right? We know in the morning we have this Brahma muhurta. After Brahma muhurta comes Shiva muhurta. There's many different muhurtas. There's 30 muhurta is like 48 minutes. Yeah. So there's 30 muhurtas in a day and night. Each one of them has a name. Just like there's 24 hours in a day and night. So if you double 24, you get 48. 48 minutes is a muhurta. So that means there are only 30 of them in a day and night. Yeah? So every 48 minutes is a different muhurta. So you mentioned the name of the muhurta. Okay, so here we have the name of the, first of all, we have the name of the year. Then we have Amukha Ayana. We have to say the name of the half year, whether we're in the Uttarayana or the Dakshinayana. The Uttarayana is when the sun is in the north, summer in the northern hemisphere. And the Uttarayana is when the sun is in the south, which is summer in the southern hemisphere. So Uttarayana, from about January 14th for 6 months is Uttarayana. And then the other 6 months is Dakshinayana. So there are some things, some ceremonies which should only be done in Uttarayana, and other ceremonies which can be done in Dakshinayana. Okay, so we have to know this from books about Muhurta. There's a book that I give everybody called Kala Prakashika, which is a standard book on Muhurta. Muhurta, in this sense, doesn't mean 48 minutes, but it means a time period. What is a good time period, an auspicious time period, and what is a inauspicious time period. So this is the one part of astrology that apart from reading every day the Panchangam, the Vaishnava calendar, or the Indian calendar for every specific place, and knowing the details for the Sankalpa, the priest also has to know when to schedule a ritual, at what time is more auspicious and what time is less auspicious. And if somebody wants you to do something at a less auspicious time, what is the parihara? What are the loopholes that you can do? And what are the prayaschitas? What are the atonements that you can do for doing something even in a bad time? So many times people will say to you, I have no time during the week. So you want to do Lakshmi Puja on Friday, but I'm working on Friday. So I can only do on Saturday and Sunday. But I want to worship Lakshmi, but I can only do on Saturday and Sunday because that's the time I have free from work, right? But Saturday and Sunday are not usually the times when you worship Lakshmi, not very auspicious times, of not very auspicious varas or days. But within those days, there might be a more auspicious and a less auspicious time. Normally we say, if you can't find an auspicious time, it's very rare to find a perfectly auspicious time. There's always something wrong with that time. You can't find a perfect time, right? So we look with our own intelligence, looking at the Panchangam to try to find the best time. Or now we have computer programs, we can just simply plug it in and say, look, I want to do first grain ceremony for somebody. They're living in this particular place. The person who is the sponsor is this person who was born on this time, on this date, and here are all the geographical and time references. Put it all into the computer program and tell me in the next 15 days which is the best time and place, which is the best time and date to do it. And it'll pop out, it'll say, this is the best time, this is the second best time, like that. So there are computer programs like that. If you want that program, I can supply that program for you. Okay? Yeah, you have to figure out how to run it. I can explain to you how to run it because it runs on Windows XP, which is quite an old operating system, but it's a very good program. Anyway, the other thing that I give people is this Kala Prakashika, which is a standard book, a Shastra, which tells all the rules for figuring this out yourself. So if you want to do it the hard way, you can do it that way. You can try to figure out that way. What is the best muhurta? What is the best time? And what is the not best time? And if somebody challenges you and says, oh, I want to do the ceremony on this time, and you say it's a bad time, but I think it's a good time, and my astrologer told me it was a good time, and you can just say to him, okay, here's the Sanskrit saying that it's a bad time. So you can go give that to your astrologer, So, but normally, of course, the priests, we don't normally argue with the sponsors. The sponsor is the person paying the bill. So in that sense, we're, subservient to the sponsors. But we give some suggestion. We suggest maybe we suggest maybe that it's not the best time. Maybe it's not the best time or day to do that, and maybe there's another one which is better. Is it possible we can do it that time? It might be better. If they say no, then we say, okay, so we'll figure out some way to do it in such a way which is better. We'll do some prayaschitta. Maybe we have to do some other pujas to alleviate the fact that Saturn or some other planet is doing some bad thing here. So whatever it is, do some Navagraha puja to begin with, or some other prayaschitta. The other thing is you can also do is you can there's another trick that you can do is you do the sankalpa. The sankalpa is considered the beginning of the ceremony. So, and when we do sankalpa, we put our hands like this together, like this on the right knee. We're sitting, so we're sitting down, and we put it down on the right thigh or right knee, like that. We put them together. Sometimes people put some flowers and some rice grains in between, right? And then when we're finished, we offer those rice grains and flowers and a little water through our hand onto the ground or in front of some deity or whatever it is. There's slightly different ways of doing it. Okay, so but basically, if you want to do a simple sankalpa, you do the sankalpa mudra, and at the end you pour water through your hand. And the idea is, in Shastra it says that when you touch water and make a vow, you have to keep your promise. So there's a few things written in scripture about making promises and lying, right? So there's also some times in scripture it says that you can lie, right? You can lie to save your life. You can lie to save a cow. You can lie to save the life of a Brahmin, right? You can lie to a woman, apparently. You can, there's some slokas and things like that. I'm not suggesting anybody lie to anybody. Okay, I'm just saying there might be some reasons why people lie. Even Lord Krishna, he wanted Yudhisthira to lie about Ashwatthama being dead, right? So he told Yudhisthira in the battle of Kurukshetra, he told him, you should yell out, Ashwatthama is dead, and then his father will be upset and we'll be able to kill him at this time, So Ashwatthama is dead, right? But because there was an elephant also called Ashwatthama, and the elephant had been killed. So Krishna said it's not really a lie because there is an Ashwatthama. There's an Ashwatthama elephant which died. So if you just say Ashwatthama is dead, right? So Yudhisthira wanted to say, Yudhisthira never told a lie, okay? So unlike most of us, he never told a lie. So he was Dharmaraj, he's the incarnation of Dharma. So he didn't want to say it. He didn't want to tell a lie. So Krishna said, you can say this. Ashwatthama is dead. Be he man or elephant, I don't know which. I don't know whether he's man or elephant. I don't know whether it's the man Ashwatthama dead or the elephant Ashwatthama dead. But there's an Ashwatthama who's dead. That's all. Like that. So it's not a complete lie, right? Maybe, But what happened was that Yudhisthira only got the first part out. He yelled out, Ashwatthama is dead. And he was going to say, be he man or elephant, I know not which, right? But when he started to say the rest of it, Krishna got everybody to blow their conch shells and nobody could hear what the rest of it was. So anyway, there's a story. So there was some lying going on at the beginning of Kali Yuga, just actually not the beginning of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga officially starts when Krishna leaves the planet, But what happens is that just like we have between day and night, between night and day, we have a period called dusk, right? Or sunset, for instance. It's not quite day and it's not yet night. Or sunrise. It's not night, but it's not yet fully day. So similarly, just before the beginning of Kali Yuga, when they had the Battle of Kurukshetra, it was not quite Kali Yuga. It hadn't started yet exactly, but still some things like lying came in, started to happen. And then Krishna was encouraging that, okay, for some political reasons, okay? All right, so anyway, the point is, yeah, who's talking? Devarishi, got a question?
Yes, yes, please. After the Sankapa, you were saying that you, the flowers and the akshats,
Yeah.
and a little drop of water.
Yeah.
Where will you drop it? Because the time you were saying, my internet.
Yeah, you can drop it on the floor in front of you, or if you've got a pot or a deity or something in at the feet of the deity, possible. You can do that. But you don't have to. You know, personally, I'm a big fan of being less messy. Okay, whereas there are many Indian priests or Hindu priests, Vaishnava priests who Vaishnava rituals can be very messy sometimes. Okay, we know if you've ever set up anything and done any big ceremony, you know it can be a big mess. So I'm a fan of being not as least messy as possible. So to me, sankalpa usually just put some water in your hand. Then, like I said, when you touch the water, by touching water, we make a promise that we can't break. Also, we mentioned Omkara. We said Hari Om Tat Sat at the beginning of our sankalpa. So when you say Om, also, you're not supposed to lie. You're supposed to tell the truth. So if you want other people to tell the truth, what you do is you drag them in front of the deity and you say, okay, now what you said to me outside, now you say this in front of the deity. Cross your heart and hope to die, right? Say it in front of the deity. Make a promise in front of the deity, like I talked about Shakshi Gopal's story. And say Om before you start. And then touch water after you finish. And then I'll believe you, okay? And if you don't do that, then I don't believe what you're saying. So you just grab somebody and say, okay, this is, if it's important, then they have to say it like that. There's some other, these are all etiquettes and all customs and things like that. So for instance, if somebody says something 3 times, it also emphasizes it, right? So if I tell somebody, don't do that, that's okay. Maybe he's going to do it again. So I say, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. If I say it 3 times to him, he's like, oh, okay, this guy means business. He doesn't want me to do that. So I better not do it. So this sankalpa, in the sankalpa we have Om, and then we say the name of the Lord 3 times. Shri Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. So we're serious. We're serious. We say Govinda 3 times. So all of these things make up sankalpa. And there's, where do we get up to? Amukha Ayana, so the part of the year, half of the year. Amukha Ritol. Ritol means the season. The season, how many seasons are there?
4.
No, 6.
Oh.
There's six seasons, 2 months each. Yeah, in India there's 6 seasons. Yeah, so in Sankalpa there's 6 seasons. Yeah, so 2 parts of the year, 6 seasons, right? Then there's month, Mase. How many months are there? Now you think I'm tricking you, right?
Yeah. No, it couldn't be 12.
There is 12, correct. Very good. Okay, 12.
Sometimes 13, right?
That's a very interesting thing. Yeah, there can be a 13th month. It's a leap month. It's called leap month. It's also called Malamas, bad month. But some people think it's very good. So it depends on the sect that you belong to. In Gaudiya Vaishnavism, they believe Purushottam Mas, which other people call Malamas or bad month, is a good month. In Hari Bhakti Vilas, it says, however, you should not do the initiation in that month. So it's interesting that later Gaudiya Vaishnavism, after Hari Bhakti Vilas, apparently it became a good month for them, more auspicious.
It's not stated anywhere specifically. In
some places it says it's bad month, and some people think it's a bad month. And normally you shouldn't do certain things in that month. But in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, they say, oh, it's the supreme month. It's great, Anything which is exclusive, anything which is out of the ordinary. If we read Bhagavad Gita in the 10th and 11th chapters, where Krishna shows his universal form, and he says to Arjuna, of fishes, I'm the shark, of rivers, I'm the Ganga, of wielders of weapons, I'm Rama. He says all these things. Of mantras, of Vedas, I'm the Sam Veda. Whichever is exceptional, something which is exceptional. Krishna says, I'm that exceptional thing, right? So similarly, this Purushottam Mas comes around maybe once every 3 years. It's not there every year, right? What happens is we have Gregorian calendar. The calendar that we use in the West is called Gregorian calendar. It's named after Pope Gregory, right? Because in the Pope in Rome, originally they had this idea. They had maybe 10 months, right? 10 months in the year. In the West, they had the 10-month calendar, and they had October was the 8th month, November was the 9th month, December was the 10th month. Yeah, that was the original system. Because in Latin, octa, nova, and deca means 8, 9, and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we know today October's not the 8th month, November's not the 9th month, and December's not the 10th month. December's the 12th month, November's the 11th month, October's the 10th month. So that means somebody stuck in another couple of months there, right? So this Pope Gregory, he stuck in a couple of months. So he said, okay, we're gonna add a couple of months in here, and we're gonna name them after Roman emperors, right? So who knows the months which are named after Roman emperors?
Julius, July and
July.
August.
July and August. Very good. Very good. Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar. And they named 2 months and stuck them in there after Julius Caesar and July and Augustus Caesar, August. So July and August were stuck in there. So that bumped up October, November, and December to be 10, 11, 12 instead of 8, 9, 10, which they used to be. Okay, so that's the Western calendar. Okay, but the Indian calendar always had 12 months, but they have 12 lunar months. And when you have 12 lunar months, you have 30 days in each month. So 30 times 12 is 360. And the sun goes around, the earth goes around the sun in 364 and a quarter, right? According to the scientists. So what the Gregorian calendar does is they have all months of different lengths. February short, some other ones are long, like whatever it is. And they have this quarter day left over, and they add it up every 4 years, and they add an extra day to February, right? Leap day, 29th of February. But the Indian calendar, what the Indian calendar does, says every month is 30 days. Every month's 30 days, right? Lunar calendar, right? 15 days dark fortnight, 15 days light fortnight, right? But so then we have 360 days. So we have 5 days left over, 4¼ days left over, basically. So if we add these up, like if we take these every so many years, 6 years or whatever it is, right? We're going to get another month. 6 or 7 years, we're going to get another month. So we'll add another month in there. Yeah. To get back on track. So that is the Purushottam month, the extra month, like that. So that can also be mentioned. So there are 12 or 13 months. Anyway, getting back to it, then we have Amukha Paksha. A Paksha, who knows what a Paksha is?
That's the waning or
waxing
moon.
Right, waning or waxing moon. Waning or waxing moon. And there are actually 2 methods of months, lunar months. One method is the end of the month it ends with the waning, and the other one ends with the waxing. So for instance, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the last day of the month for Gaudiya Vaishnavas is Purnima. The last day of the year for Gaudiya Vaishnavas is Gaura Purnima. Understand? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born on a full moon, Purnima. And so the next day is the beginning of the new year. So it's the first day of the next month. So from Purnima to Amavasya, from the full moon to the new moon, is what? Is it waning or waxing?
I'm sorry. I was.
From the full moon, if I start at the full moon and I go to the new moon, what happens?
Yeah, now it's waxing.
No,
I
it's
mean, sorry,
waning.
waning.
It's
Waning.
waning, right? It's going from full and it's getting smaller, 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 and disappearing on the
Yeah.
on the Amavasya, on the new moon night or no moon night. And then from the Amavasya back to the Purnima, it's waning. It's waxing. Excuse me. You're right. Waxing. So it's getting bigger. It's getting fuller, right? So if we end a month with Purnima like the Gaudiya Vaishnavas do, right? That Gaura Purnima is the end of the month, right? And the next day is the beginning of the new year, the beginning of a new month and a new year. Gaurabda. Abda means month. Abda means year. So Gaura, the year of the years, just like we say in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, they'll say, right? 2020. Yeah. So there are many different eras. There's Samvat, Vikramaditya. There's different eras. Kali Yuga. You can even say it's such and such number of years since Kali Yuga started. So you might mention Gaurabda, you might mention whatever. You start counting years from Lord Chaitanya's birth or whatever. So if we say the month ends in the Purnima, that means we are following a calendar which is called Purnamanta. Anta means end. So Purnamanta means ending in the Purnima. So a Purnamanta month has Amavasya in the middle, right? Starts on the Pratipad, the first day of Pratipad or Pratama. The word Pratipad or Pratama means the first day of either the waning or waxing moon, but it starts on the first day after Purnima, the first day of the waning. Waning means there are two pakshas, two parts to the month of 15 days, right? The first day of waning is Krishna Paksha. The first day of waxing is called Shukla Paksha. Sometimes Gaudiya Vaishnavas call that Gaura Paksha, because Gaura means also golden or effulgent, right? So when the moon is more effulgent. So we have Krishna Paksha. Normally people in Sanskrit, they say Krishna Paksha and Shukla Paksha, black and white fortnights. Shukla means white or bright. So the bright fortnight is the waxing. The dark fortnight of the Krishna Paksha is the waning. Okay, so from Purnami, from full moon to Amavasya to new moon, that is waning, and that is the Krishna Paksha. That if that comes first, then the next one will be the Gaura Paksha or the Shukla Paksha, the waxing fortnight, right? So when we say, if I say to you, Pratama, if I say Shukla Pratama Shukla, that means the day after Amavasya, when the moon is getting brighter. But if I say Pratama Krishna Paksha Pratama Titi, that means the day after Purnima, when it's going down, it's waning. Yeah. So then you have to learn the numbers of the titis. That's going to go on, and it's going to say Amuka Adya Amuka Subatito. Tito means titi, lunar day. So the lunar day is going to be either Purnima or Amavasya. These have special names, the full moon or the new moon. And in between, there are another 14, because there's 15 in each half, 30 days total. Each half of the month has 15. Each paksha has 15 days. But there are two special names, Purnima and Amavasya, full moon and new moon. After the full moon, we get the waning, the Krishna Paksha. So we have 14 days that we name, only give the name of the number for that day. And in the other half also, those are only numbers. So if I say Pratama, it could mean Shukla Paksha, it could mean Krishna Paksha, it could mean waxing or waning, the first day of the waxing or the waning. So we have to just know the cardinal numbers. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th in Sanskrit. We have to know, which are Pratama, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shasti, Saptami, Astami, Navami, Dasami, Ekadasi, Dwadasi, Trayodasi, Chaturdasi. And the first one can also be called Pratipad. That's an alternate Sanskrit word for Pratama. So Pratipad or Pratama, but Pratama, Dutiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shasti, Saptami, Astami, Dasami, Ekadasi, Dwadasi, Trayodasi, and Chaturdasi, Chaturdasi. These are the words for 1 to 14 in Sanskrit. First, they're ordinals. First to 14th is what it actually means, right? So we have to know those. We have to know those. We have to look on the calendar and know what it is, and we have to say that is the Tithi today. Then Vasara means day of the week. How many days are there in a week?
7.
Yeah, correct.
I would hope.
Yeah, it's not a trick question. Yeah. But you're on your toes now because of the right, because of the seasons, 6 seasons, right? So then we have 7 days of the week. So you have to learn the names of the days of the week in Sanskrit. And then there's nakshatra. Nakshatra comes next. Amukha nakshatra. So nakshatre, there are how many nakshatras? Well, stars. Nakshatra means star.
27.
Yep, there's actually 28. There's actually 28. Hello, David Rishi wants to say something? Yeah, there's actually 28. Abhijit is the last one, is another one. But we only count 27. For this purpose, there's only 27. For most purposes, only 27. You're right. But sometimes people count 28. 28 is interesting discussion about what is 28. What's the 28th nakshatra? But anyway, mostly for regular purposes, 27. Okay, so then after nakshatra, then we have yoga and karna. And yoga and karna, you have to look up in the Panchangam to find out what it is. Normally, people in the Sankalpa don't mention the exact name of the yoga or the exact name of the karna. Usually people don't mention it, but sometimes you can mention it. If you want to mention it, you can mention it. But usually they just say Shubha Yoga, Shubha Karna. Means it's an auspicious yoga and karna. It's an auspicious karna, it's an auspicious yoga. These are small periods of time in the day. Evam Guna Visheshana Vishishtayam Asyam Shubhatito Asyam Amukha Shubhatito Mamo Pata Samasta Dujakshe Dwara Sri Parameshwara Prityatam we went over. And then in this Smarta example here, we're saying things like Amukha Nakshatra Amukha Raso Jatasya Amukha Sharmanaha. So this means what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Yajamana, the sponsor of the ceremony, and we're going to mention his name. We're going to mention his birth star, right? Which means what? How do you find out somebody's birth star?
I mean, you could look in the Panchang.
Yeah. Well, first thing is you could just ask him.
Oh, okay.
He might know it. He might know it. If he doesn't know it, then you have to make a rasi. You have to make a horoscope for him, and you have to look and you have to see where his moon is. Where his moon is in his rasi, in his horoscope, and wherever the moon, whatever the moon, whatever corresponding star is in that place where the moon is, his moon is, that's his birth star. Okay? We can go into more detail with this if you want to look at a program, if you want to look at an astrology program. You don't have to know that much, but because most people know what their star is if they've done pujas before. Then their Rasi is their rising sign. So what Rasi, what star and run Rasi were they born into, right? Then Amukha Sharmanaha. Amukha, David Rishi, I'm going to mute you unless you have something to say. Okay, so yeah, so this person is if he's a Brahmin, the sponsor, if he's a Brahmin, we'll call him something, whatever his name is, Sharmanaha. So let's say his name is Dvivedi, right? Then we'll say Dvivedi Sharmanaha, right? Now, if he belongs to some other caste, right, or class, if he's a Kshatriya, Varmanaha. If he's a Vaishya, Guptaha. If he's a Sudra, Dasaha. And also, if they're devotees, you can just say, if you can say their initiated name and call them such and such Dasaha. Yeah. Right? And then you could even, there might even be a place where you put in the name of his wife. But many times people just say Sakutumbanam. Sakutumbanam. Saha means with. Kutumbanam means all his family, including all his family. So I don't know if I wrote that down here, but there's.
Would you mind just repeating that?
Saha Kutumbanam.
Saha.
Yeah, I'll write it down for you and give you some more instruction on that. Okay. All right. So then we go through, then the rest of this sankalpa here goes through many sort of different things that the person wants to achieve from doing this particular ceremony. And so we don't really need to go into it. Also, the other thing in sankalpas is that they will do some. Here's an example with a translation also. So let's go through it. So sometimes they start out like this: Titi Vishnu Tatavara Nakshatram Vishnu Revacha Yogascha Karnam Chaiva Sarvam Vishnu Mayam Jakate. The lunar days, the weekdays, the stars are all Vishnu. So also the yogas and karnas. In fact, the entire universe is pervaded by Lord Vishnu. That's very nice. And then Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Govina Sube Sobane Muhurte Asya Bhagavato Mahapurushasya Shri Vishnu Ragyaya Parvatamanasya Adya Brahmanaha Dvitiya Paradhe Shri Svedavaraha Kalpe Vaivashvataman Mantare Astavim Satitame Kali Yuga Pratamapade Bodhavatare Jambudvipe, Buddha was the closest avatar, okay? Jambudvipe, Meroho, Amukha Digbage. So we don't say exactly what direction it is from Mount Meru. Amukha
Is this the same Smarta one? Is this the second part to the first part right there, where you have Titi Vishnu Datavaraha?
Yeah.
And then Hari Om Tat Sate Shri Govinda.
This is a more complete sankalpa, and it's a smarter one. Yeah.
Because what's his name? Ramanuja Acharya, in his book, one of his books, he does that top part just as the short sankalpa. Titi Vishnu Tatavaraha Nakshatram Vishnu Revacha.
At some temple you've been to, yeah?
No. Ramanuja Acharya.
Rami. Yeah, Ramanuja Acharya. Yeah.
Yeah, he does that as a lagu.
As a lagu. Okay, yeah. Nice. That's nice. Okay, so I've just given this as an example, and down below you've got the translation. Okay. So I think this is a good introduction to Sankalpas. Down there, you've got some variations mentioned on the next page. And then it goes into all the different terms that need to be plugged in. And I've given the names of the years. Yeah. So remember, there's two different types of months. Some people count the month as beginning with the day after Purnima. Some people, that's called Purnamanta months. Some people count it as being part, as ending the after the Amavasya, adding at Amavasya. So the first day after Amavasya is the first day of the month. And there are also other places in India where they have solar months, not lunar months, like Bengal, Tamil Nadu, even Kerala sometimes. Okay, so you have to be aware of that. Some people might want to use the solar months. Anyway, so there's the years, 60 years. And we have, here we have the 6 seasons explained, right? And what I did was I also explained the 6 seasons for the Southern Hemisphere, which I don't know. There's some Indian priests, they might go to the Southern Hemisphere and they might continue to use the same seasons that they use in the Northern Hemisphere, but it'll be completely opposite, because when it's summer in Northern Hemisphere, it's winter in the Southern Hemisphere. So I think personally, my personal feeling is that we need to change the seasons for the Southern Hemisphere, and there might be some other things that we change. For instance, in ISKCON and Gaudiya Vaishnavism, they offer peacock fan. They're fanning the deity in the hot season, and in the cold season they don't fan the deity. So that should be switched around for the Southern Hemisphere, so that they're also doing that according to the season and not according to the date. So if you say between Shivratri and Kartik, between Shivratri and some other time you shouldn't fan the deity, that'll be different for the Southern Hemisphere. Or you should fan the deity, or whatever it is. Anyway, so after that we have the months of the year, right? Adik month or Purushottam month is the leap year, the leap month. Then we have down here, we have explanation of Tamil solar months, right? Which shouldn't be too useful for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, but it's useful for other people. And just so anybody else is following that, the Tamil solar months, or usually a solar month starts at the Sankranti. So instead of Purnami and Amavasya, Purnima and Amavasya, the Tamil solar month starts with Sankranti. Sankranti is the day when the sun enters into the next sign of the zodiac. So it's solar. It's based on the travels of the sun. Then we have the half fortnight, the Pakshas, and an explanation of what the Krishna Paksha or the Sukla Paksha is. The Vara, or the day of the week. And now we come to the 27 nakshatras, and they're in a particular order. Some of them have alternate names. And if you're in Tamil Nadu, people also have Tamil names for these, which are different than the Sanskrit names, but these are the Sanskrit names which are usually used in Sankalpa. But you might occasionally hear people using Tamil names for nakshatras if there's a Tamil priest or if it's a Tamil community. Okay, so Barney has this Upper Barney alternative. Dhanishta is also called Shravista. Purnabhadrapad and Uttarabhadrapad are also called Purnaposhtapad and Uttaraposhtapad, but these are rare. Just differences. Now we come to yogas. Yogas, these are all the different yogas, right? And these are Karnas, half lunar days. These are the names of all the different ones, okay? If you really want to go to town and to say them, most people do not say the names of the yogas and Karnas. Yeah, there they are. Now we have the names of the muhurtas, right? So we see down here, number 29 is Brahma Muhurta. You see that? It's number 29. There are 30 muhurtas in a day and night. So when does the Vedic day start? Who knows?
Sunrise?
Correct. Vedic day starts at sunrise. So there are two muhurtas before sunrise. So 1 hour and 36 minutes before sunrise, up until 48 minutes before sunrise. That 48 minutes is Brahma Muhurta. So that is the 29th out of the 30 muhurtas. Then after Samudrama Muhurta, then again, the first Muhurta is Rudra. 48 minutes from sunrise until 40 minutes after sunrise.
During which Sandhya Vandanam should be done during which muhurtas specifically?
Prataha Sandhya Vandanam should be done before, there's some rules, and we can go into that later. I wasn't expecting this question. We have to talk, it's sort of a technical thing, but the japa should be done while the japa should be done starting when it's still dark up until the light comes. And in the evening, it should be started at twilight when it's getting dark up until when it's, but it's still light, but it's getting dark, and up until the night. The exact timings, more or less, there are some scriptural statements about it, and we can explain about it. But however, if you miss the exact timings of those Sandhya Vandanas, morning and evening, there is, as we say, a prayaschita argya. There's an extra argya that you can offer for atonement for not being at the right time. Even at the not right time in the middle of the day. The middle of the day, Sandhya Vandana is supposed to be done at local noon. Local noon is not noon on your watch. Noon on your watch is noon according to the time zone that you're in. But local noon is when the sun is actually exactly overhead. And so that's when you're supposed to do Madhyanika Sandhya Vandanam, middle Sandhya Vandanam. So middle of the day. So if you're late or early for any of these, if you're not at the right time, then there's an extra argya to offer. You offer 3 argyas in the morning, 1 or 2 in the noon, and 3 at the evening. So if you offer an extra one at each of these times, that is the prayaschita for not doing it at the right time. Normally what people do is they do the prayaschita anyway, because it's so easy to just do one more argya. All you do is pranayama again. You say a sankalpa and do another argya. You say, kalatita prayaschita argyam karishye. I am going to perform this prayaschita argya to the sun, kalatita, for not being at the right time. Yeah. Okay, so that's for Sandhya Vandanam. And if you want me to look up different pramanas for certain things, like there's different, Sandhya Vandanam is very complicated. Just like any ritual, if you want to go deeply into something, it can become very complicated, Like you should sit when you're doing japa in the evening, and if you don't sit while you're doing japa in the evening, if you don't stand while you're doing japa in the morning, you lose your caste. You get thrown out of being a Brahmin. It's such a sin. So it's sinful to sit in the morning and do Gayatri, and sinful japa, Gayatri japa, and it's sinful to stand in the evening. One. I mean, it's a small rule. It's a very small rule. I don't think anybody's going to, is going to take that. But people who are very orthodox take that seriously, and they do that. Yeah, they follow those things. So there's different. Yeah, go ahead, Swami. Question.
Please, yes. I wanted.
Okay, you have
doing japa.
Okay, you're very, very weak internet there, so you have to speak slowly and clearly. Then
Yes.
we can understand you.
Yes,
What is?
I was saying that I do the japa, Gayatri japa,
Yeah.
sitting down in the morning.
Yes. So many people do it. I'm just saying that there's a small rule which many people don't know about, which says that you have to do it standing in the morning and sitting in the evening. It's a small rule, very small rule. That's why you didn't hear about it and why many people didn't hear about it. But I'm telling you, if you go deeply into this subject matters, there's so many small rules. If you put too much water in your hand when you say Achimana, it's like drinking liquor. Considered too much water in the hand. If you put more water than can cover a mung bean in your hand, if you sip that more water than that, it's considered equal to drinking liquor, alcohol.
Wow.
You lose your caste. Okay, but there's also there's so many rules. There's so many little rules. Okay, like that. There's so many things. You know, if you Chandogya Upanishad said, like we were talking about the nyasa, the mantra nyasa, if you don't know the meaning of if you don't know the meter or the deity or the purpose for the mantra, your head will fall off. You'll be decapitated. Your head will explode or something. This is all in the Upanishads. Okay, we have to understand that many of these rules are written in such a way, in hyperbolic terms, to try to encourage people to do that. So I want to encourage you to do this, you know. So I'm talking to my 8-year-old son who just took Upanayanam. He's 7 years old. The other 9 months he was in the womb of his mother. So he's going on 8 years old. We just gave him the Brahman initiation. We told him to do Gayatri. And I'm telling him, you have to do this, otherwise your head will explode, you know? So he's, you know, I'm not saying it's not true. It's there in the Shastra. It says so, but it's hyperbolic. It's hyper. It's to try to get you to do something. Just like they say, okay, this is the greatest mantra. This is the greatest vrata. This is the most incredible fast, you know, right? Oh, you should fast for Chatumasya all 4 months. You have to fast and eat leaves and lie on the ground and only breathe once every 3 days. This will be great, you know, like that. And then if you can't do that, well, you can just do Kartik. And if you can't do that, you can just do the 5 days of Bhishma Panchak. And if you can't do that, you can just do the last day of that. And if you can't do that, you can just chant Hare Krishna. So there's all these different rules and things like that. But we're trying to encourage people to do more things. We're trying to encourage them to do the maximum. But ultimately, people cannot do. There's no maximum, and people can't do it. People can't do the maximum. So they do whatever they can do. They can feel happy doing whatever they can do. So maybe it's not possible for you to do Gayatri standing up in the morning. Okay, then do. It's not that you think, oh, you know, there's no way I can stand up and do Gayatri Japa in the morning, so therefore I'm going to not do Gayatri Japa. That's not the point of the rule. The point of the rule is to encourage you, not to discourage you. So if you can't follow some very minor rule, don't worry too much about it. Okay? That's the point.
Thank you, Swami.
Yeah, don't worry about it too much. Okay, it's just an example, and there are many, many rules. If once you get to see millions and millions of rules, all of which are impossible to follow, then you'll realize that the Shastra is just trying to encourage me, you know. So do whatever you can do and whatever you like to do, you try to do that like that. I'm not saying don't follow the rules. I'm saying you can follow the rules and be encouraged though. Don't be discouraged. If you see too many rules at once, you get discouraged.
But if your head falls off, you'll know why.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so then at the end here, I gave the names of some dweepas in Vedic cosmology and some varshas. A khanda is also a part of a varsha, right? So there's the different things. So we can also add, like I said, we can add different things. Like I add, you know, Maui Dweepe, you know, we can say Oahu Dweepe for Honolulu Mahanagari, you know, is the great city of Honolulu. You know, you can say there's so many other things you can say. if you're at a temple, you can say, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar Sanido. I'm in the temple of Radha Shama Sundar, right? Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Shama Sundar Krishna Balarama Sannidho. I am in the temple of Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Shama Sundar and Krishna Balarama. Yeah.
Sunny doe.
Some people say I am in the shadow. I'm in the shadow. Gopura Chayayam. I am in the shadow of the Gopuram of Sri Ranganatha Swami.
Wow.
People
That
say
is so
different
sweet.
things wherever I am. I'm just in the. I'm in the forest. I am in the forest adjacent to the temple of the beautiful forest lion, Sri Lakshmi Narasimha of Sri Rangam, right? There's a temple next to Sri Rangam temple called Katalagiya Singha, the beautiful forest lion temple. And so maybe you're doing some Sandhi Vandanam there, so you can say that. Or maybe you're doing some ritual there. So you can identify the place like that. There's so many nice ways that you can do it. So anyway, that's about Sankalpas. So I think if there's no other questions, that might be it for today. We can take
Swami?
it up. The best thing though is if you want a very detailed explanation with the actual pramanas and everything, and you need to give me some time. You need to let me know that you're going to this was very off the cuff, and I just showed you. I can send you this lesson on Sankalpa, but there's a lot more to be discussed about Sankalpa. And you have to see people to do it, and you have to listen to the mantra the way they chant it. People chant it, and you have to know when to stop and to take a breath after what clauses. After certain sections, samvatsare, breathe, ayane, amukatito, amukanakshatra, like this. And you find out how to chant it nicely. And as I said, start off with a very short one, very small one. And if there's a very big ritual, like an installation or some very big ritual that takes many days, and maybe you want to do a Mahasankalpa. If you want to see what a Mahasankalpa is like, I can show you sometime. I would have to transliterate it, but it involves many items, many more items than this. This is Sankalpa lesson 101. There's a lot more that can be said about Sankalpas. The reason why it's important is because you do need to do it, but at the same time, it's going to change every time. Whereas all the rest of your rituals, say you know how to do a wedding or a samskar or whatever it is, you're going to, eventually, if you do many of them, you're going to know that all off by heart. But this is going to change. Each and every time it's going to be different. Different place, different time, different people. So you need to know it more by heart than others because it's going to change, and you have to do it sometimes on the fly. Somebody might come into the temple and they might want you to do a sankalpa for them and do archana to the deity, offer flowers to the deity. Somebody comes with a plate and you have to say, have them touch the plate and say, what's your gotra, what's your family name, what's your star, and what is that of different people, and then you have to compose the sankalpa on the fly and do the puja of the deity. That's what people are doing in the South Indian temples. You go inside and you're going to do archana, so you buy a ticket for 108 or 1008 names to offer to the Lord, and you take some flowers and things, and you give it to the pujari, and then you put one hand, your right hand on there, and you tell him your gotra, your nakshatra, your family name, and your star, and your name, and for other people in your party, and then he will compose a sankalpa on the spot, and then he will do the puja for the deity in your name. So go ahead, Devrishi, you had something else to say? One other question?
Yes, Swami. Please, I wanted to ask you if you can. I remember you wrote one for me that I'm using now.
Okay.
It's a very short sankalpa. but as times goes on, we are doing different ceremonies, and people are becoming more interested, and we have to do in a big way, in a way that especially when people hear you chanting the Sankalpa, they will know that, oh, this person is properly trained. So I wanted you to beg you if you can construct some short, some Sankalpa that relate to this, that I can also be able to study, apart from the one you gave us before.
Okay, well, I have to see what I gave you because it was years ago and I don't remember exactly what I gave you. And then we have to work from there on the next step, of what
Okay.
of what to do.
Okay,
What to add.
I'll
But
write it out.
yeah, but I agree with you. It's very nice if you can put, if you say a prayer of Sanskrit mantra with people's names in it, who are the sponsors, they really appreciate that. They really understand that you're doing something personal for them, and that you're yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah,
would
go
really
ahead.
like to be able to do that also, to have a sankalpa that includes the names of the yajamanas.
Yeah. At the same time, just remember that the main ritual is the most important thing. The sankalpa is a preliminary.
Okay.
So we don't want the preliminary. I mean, I can give you pages and pages and pages and pages of sankalpa. It'll take you half an hour to say the sankalpa. So if you only have an hour to do the ceremony, or if you only have 45 minutes to do the ceremony, you don't want to spend half an hour saying some very elaborate sankalpa and then 5 minutes on the puja.
Mm-hmm.
You want to construct the ritual in such a way that the emphasis is on the main aspect of the worship, the main aspect of the ritual, and the preliminaries are then allotted lesser time than the main ritual. We don't spend 2 hours, 2 hours worshiping all the pots of ingredients for an abhishek, and 5 minutes just pour it on top of the deity.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We don't spend, we don't spend days and days, So we should make the abhishekam should be long, and the pot puja before the abhisheka, that needs to be shorter than the abhisheka. And so whatever preliminaries we have, we first of all sort of make an estimate of how much time we have for the whole ritual. And secondly, if it's going to be a long ritual, whatever we can do before we even get to the place as a preliminary, there might be some preliminaries you want to do even before the yajamana comes there, yourself. Like these things like Bhuta Shuddhi, which are very important, which normally are not done by the priests anymore, but they're very important. If you find them important and you want to do them, add them, then please do them before people even come to the ceremony. This will be for your own purification, and then so then we know how much time we have for the ritual, and we should allot a certain amount of time only, small amount of time for preliminaries. And for preliminaries, I mean things like Punyavachanam and Vishwaksena Puja or Ganesha Puja. But Sankalpa is even less of it's even a smaller preliminary than those. So if Ganesha Puja might take 3 or 5 minutes or something like that maximum. And then so the Sankalpa is not going to take 5 minutes. If the Ganesh Puja is 5 minutes, the Sankalpa should take less. And you can also decide whether you want to break up the Sankalpa. You want to have one big Sankalpa in the beginning, including all the parts of the ritual, or you want to have a separate Sankalpa each time, which is smaller. So for instance, we start with Bhagavad-gya, Bhagavad-kinka, Yurupam, Nirvignena Parisamaptyatam Adau Sri Vigneshwara Pujam or Sri Vishwaksena Pujam Karishye. The Vishwaksena Puja or the Vigneshwara or Ganapati Puja is done as Nirvignena Parisamaptyatam. It is done as Nirvignena to clear away the obstacles, Parisamaptyatam, and attain the result. So that's a very short Sankalpa for Vishwaksena or Ganesh Puja. we don't need to include that in the main sankalpa. So we can just do the main sankalpa for the main puja, or we can include it in the main. We can do a sankalpa where we say something, and then when we get to a certain point, we go tata or and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this preliminary, and I'm going to do tatangam. We can say tatangam plus the yanga Vishwaksena puja plus the yanga punyavachanam. So I might say Bhagavad-gya Bhagavad-kinkari Rupa Madau Shri Vivaha Samskaram Tata Punyahavachanam Tatanga Punyahavachanam Tatanga Vishwaksena Pujam Karisya, like this. Yeah, I might add it on. It's up to you. It's an art, not a science, and you have to make the sankalpa your sankalpa, and you have to figure it out. And the only thing you need to know is you need to know all these things to plug in, and you need to have a formula, and you need to know a little bit about Sanskrit grammar sometimes, but that's all, and you'll be able to do it, no problem. Okay, so I think
the
that's.
Document.
Huh?
Sorry, this document. Are you going to send it to the WhatsApp group? Or?
Yeah, I'll post it.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And let's see. I had a quick question. Well, it's probably already have an answer for it. I'm thinking, which was that because whenever I do my sankalpa, I always use this Gora Samvatsare, but yeah, I just throw in the year.
Gora Samvatsare.
Yeah.
Oh, Gorabda.
Gorabda Samvatsare. Yeah, sorry, Gorabda Samvatsare.
But what Gorabda?
You mean what year?
Yeah.
Well, it's 534 right now, but.
So do you say 534 in Sanskrit?
No. No, I haven't.
Because in the Sankalpa you say Prabhavadini Shasti Samvatsaranam, certain Samvatsara Nama Samvatsara, the name of the year. What's the name of the year?
Oh.
You understand? There's 60 names of the years.
Ah, okay. So I'm using those for Gorabda Samvatsare. Got it.
Gorabda Samvatsare just means in the year of Gora.
Yeah.
Is this year the year of Gora?
Oh. Okay.
In the year of Gora, to me, the year of Gora is what, 1486, right? See, that's Gorab. That's the year of Gora. If you want to say in the 500, what is it, 34th, in the 534th year after Gora, that's all right. That's fine. No problem. You can do that. It means learning a few more numbers in Sanskrit. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can say that. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. One other quick question. I don't want to keep you here for too long. Sorry.
Not a problem.
Yesterday we briefly talked about Upanayam, and I have a son. He's 6 years, almost 7 years old now. So I'm also thinking, to do. And I spoke to him this morning, and he was really excited when I mentioned it. What can you give me some good reading source for where I might find a nice prayog for that?
I mean, it's there in Purva Prayoga, in Rama Ramanuja's Purva Prayoga. You can do, but normally Krishna Yajurvedis are doing it according to Apastamba or Bodhayana Shaka. If you want to do it some other way, you can do it some other way. Even the Upanayanam is there in Satkriya Sardipika. So I don't know what system you're familiar with or what system you want to practice. But any of those systems, and there's even Puranic way of doing it, let's say. We could do it in a Puranic way. I'm sure he has his different prayogas. There's different prayogas there. First and foremost, Krishna Yajurvedis, Taittiriya Krishna Yajurvedis. I put first and foremost, they're going to be probably following Apastamba or Bodhayana. Now, in your Sandhya Vandana, you're doing Abhivade. If you're saying Apastamba Sutra, that means what you're telling God is that you follow Apastamba Sutra as far as your samskaras are concerned. So Upanayanam, according to Apastamba Sutra, is there in Purva Prayoga. In all those books are there in that link, Australasian Hindu Clergy. Do you know where that is on the internet?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's there.
Okay.
Apastamba.
Okay.
It's called Purva Prayoga. Purva Prayoga. It'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then when you do Upanayanam for somebody, then the first Upakarma that they do, they do it a little differently than the rest of us who have done many Upakarmas. It's when you start teaching how to do Sandhya Vandanam, it's up to you. I think a lot of people begin teaching Sandhya Vandanam before they give them Upanayanam, because as soon as you get Upanayanam, you have to start doing Sandhya Vandanam. So probably it's a good idea to teach it before, like that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Swami?
Yes, Swami.
Yes, and I'm teaching. Normally, I used to do Surya Agya.
Surya Agya. Yes, Surya Agya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So he's interested, and I'm always also. Is he okay?
Okay, you cut out a few times there. So what I'm guessing you're saying is that you do Surya Agya and your son sees it and he likes doing Surya Agya. And is it okay if he does Surya Agya, right?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can do Surya Agya. Anybody can offer Agya to the sun. But the thing is, when you offer Agya to the sun, normally it's offered with the Gayatri Mantra. So so if you want to offer Agya to the sun without any mantra, that's fine. But if you want to offer water to the sun as Surya Argya, normally it's done with Gayatri Mantra, and it means you have to be initiated into Gayatri Mantra to do it.
Oh, okay. I used to do the Gayatri Mantra. I do it, but my son, because he's not even speaking well, so I used to recite it and help him do it.
Oh, you're helping him do it. Okay. There also, I mean, there's some things about Surya Agya. I mean, if we go into Sandhya Vandanam very deeply, we explain about how you offer the Agya, how you have to stand on your tiptoes, do it. Maybe you're sitting down and doing it, but normally.
No, I'm not sitting.
No, okay, but
I raise one of my leg. I raise the leg up.
You raise one of your legs.
I stand on one leg.
You stand on one leg. Wow, you're a real yogi. Yeah. Normally the system is you get up on your toes on both feet. You're standing on your feet, it's flat, and you come up on the front of your feet, offer the Agya, and then come down. And also you should hold the water high. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many things in the acharyas have done commentaries on Sandhya Vandanam and what it means and different things. This Surya Agya is supposed to be like a weapon that you throw to kill the demons. There are these demons, Mahendaras, who are attacking the sun. And by saying the Gayatri and throwing the water, you're shooting these demons. You're helping the sun kill these demons. But it all has a metaphorical meaning. Okay, so it's not. And then there's a part where you reload. Also, you have to reload your weapon.
Wow.
Your mantra weapon. Okay, so this is all about Sandhya Vandanam, but we it's a complicated ritual. But it's the basis of all rituals, actually. It's the basis of all rituals. If you know Sandhya Vandanam, then it becomes easy to know many other rituals. you learn sankalpa, you learn pranayam, you learn achamana, you learn all these things.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, by doing sanyaman. Okay, so yeah, teaching our children how to do things like that is nice, very nice.
You also mentioned in the WhatsApp group, sorry, a different topic. If you want, I can ask this on Thursday if you prefer.
Oh, go ahead. I'm here now.
Okay, so you mentioned that the movable deities, like the home deities, need to be reinstalled every single day. And you said that
they're not. It's not really reinstalled. In the beginning, what we do in installation is we make the form of the Lord fit to be used by the Lord to accept offerings through. So imagine, we're making that form fit by doing the adivasas, jal adivas, dhanya adivas, chai adivas. We're doing different sayan adivas. We're doing different ceremonies to mano mana pramana shanti homa, karmanga shnapanam, silpadosha snanam, to get rid of any defects, and we're making it perfect. And then with the nyasas, we destroy the material form, we create a spiritual form, and we've got it there. So we've got something perfect. We've got something perfect for the Lord to inhabit and to accept our offerings through. Whether it's a permanent deity or whether it's a temporary movable deity. The difference is that each time with the movable deity, we have, except for Shalagram. Shalagram is a self-manifest deity, and we don't, even though it's movable, we don't have to do a vahanam. We don't have to do this pranapratista every time. But with the movable deity, we should do that. We should do the pranapratista. In other words, we should call God to be present. He's present everywhere. God is present everywhere anyway. Right? So it's not that God is not there within the deity. He's there within everything. He's in the floor, he's in the walls, he's in the, he's in my glasses, he's in everything. So he's there in that form, but we have to, we're making, again, we have to do the pranapratista before we worship that movable deity. We just have to enliven him. Oops. Uh-oh, what's Devarishi doing? You sharing a screen with us? Devarishi, I'm going to, what did you do?
Maybe he was trying to share that sankalpa.
He was trying to share something, but
yeah.
He shared a blank piece of paper. Okay, so
just about that then, if you have to do the pranapratista, you mentioned that it can be something simple, but that you have to do something every day.
Normally what people do is they're just saying a dhyana mantra. They're just saying dhyana mantra. Like when we do Vishvaksena Puja, we say, Yasya Dvira Vaktradya Parisadya Parasidam Vignam Niganti Sadatam Vishvaksenam Tamasraye. Right? Oh, Vishvaksena, I'm meditating on you. Right? Take away all the obstacles, whatever. Right?
Okay.
And then we're calling Vishvaksena. Om Bhu Vishvaksena Mavahyami, Om Bhuva Vishvaksena Mavahyami, Om Sva Vishvaksena Mavahyami, Om Bhurvava Subaha Vishvaksena Mavahyami. So wherever you are, Vishvaksena, in the three worlds, please come and be here and accept this worship.
Do you know where I could find a nice dhyana mantra for Radha and Krishna?
There's so many dhyana mantras for Radha and Krishna. Okay. But in Gaudiyas, normally, it's there in Achana Padati, probably Pancharatra Pradeep copied the same thing. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the Gaudiya Mata and the ISKCON of, Tato Vrindavanam Dhyayat Paramananda Vardhanam. This is from Haribhakti Vilas. But you have also this very simple Divyad Vrindavana Kalpadrumadya Srimad Ratnagara Sanasto Sri Sri Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prestalibi Sevya Manasmarami. There are many mantras, depending on what your exact form of Radha Krishna you're meditating on.
So could I use Jayatam, because I worship Radha Madan Mohan? So could I use
Jayatam Surato Pangor Mamamanda Matergati Matsarvasva Param Bojo Shri Radha Madana Mohana. So why not?
Oh wow. Okay.
Why not?
What about Hey Krishna? What about Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate?
Okay. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate. excuse me, Gopisha Gopika Kanta, Shri Radha Kanta Namostute, right? But then you're worshipping only Krishna. In your temple, you're worshipping only Krishna, so that's enough for you. But most people are worshipping Radha Krishna. So then after that one, they should be saying, Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Suti Pranamami Hari Priye, right? They should be saying the one to Radha also after that. Of course, in the first mantra, Radha Kanta includes Radha, a little bit. But normally we say both those, right? Hey Krishna, and then Tapta Kanchana after it, if it's Radha and Krishna together. But it's up to you, as you like. With other forms of the Lord, like Narasimha, there might be a specific form. It's got 32 arms or 16 arms or 8 arms or 4 arms or 2 arms, whatever it is. He might be angry. He might be with Lakshmi. He might be with Prahlad, whatever it is. So there's different slokas, different dhyana slokas. There are books, whole books full of dhyana slokas for different deities. You know, I can pull it off the shelf right now, and we can go on for hours of different dhyana slokas according to the exact form that you're meditating on. You know, of a particular deity, for Krishna, for Balarama, for Narasimha, for Rama. There's so many. So you know, you're probably going, but if you want to follow Hari Bhakti Vilas, there's a very long meditation, dhyana mantra for Krishna worship in Hari Bhakti Vilas, very long. It starts to talk, some of it is there in Archana Padadi and Pancharatra Pradip. Tato Vrindavanam Dhyayat Paramananda Vardhanam, and it goes on and on and on. There's a lot, and you can do it shorter if you want to do it shorter. You know, if you have a special day like Janmashtami, you can make it longer. You can do it longer. No, there's no limit to the prayers. To prayers you can offer, right? No limit to prayers you offer. But this is just a dhyana mantra, meditating on the Lord. The actual prana pratishta system for a movable deity is different from an immovable deity, and there would be some system of prana pratishta also. And in the prana pratishta, there is a meditation on Prana Shakti Devi, who represents the Shakti, the pranas in the body of the Lord, and so she's a goddess. And then there's a meditation on her too. So there's prana pratishta is the simple way of doing it, and there's a more complex way of doing it for movable deities. Or you just have a shalagram. You have a self-manifest deity. You don't have. That's why many Brahmins, they just have a shalagram in their house, because it's much easier to worship a shalagram than worship these other forms. Yeah, even in the temple, they have the main deity, the Mula Vigraha, that's just stuck down, and then the other the other deities are movable, and there might be, in most of our temples we see there's a big set and a little set of deities, and these little set are taken on procession and they're used for abhishekam and everything. But in a Pancharatric temple or Vaikanasic temple, there can be up to 6 different sets of small deities for different purposes. One set that goes on around the temple to offer bali to all the devatas, offer rice and water to all the devatas after the prasadam. There's a bali bearer, a shnapana bearer, one that's done abhishek on. There's a yaga bearer, one that goes to the temple yagshala and observes the fire ceremonies that are done every day in the temple yagshala. There's a tirtha bearer, which is taken at the end of festivals to the temple tank and bathe with all the devotees, takes a bath with all the devotees. There's a sayana bearer, one that lies down at night or sleeps. In Udupi, they put him to bed for 4 months of the Chatumasya. He's sleeping in a golden cradle, Krishna. So, Shnapana bearer, sayana bearer, bali bearer, tirtha bearer, payanka bearer. Oh, payanka bearer, sayana bearer. Okay, there's 5 or 6 that can be, right? But now it's come down to just big and small, one big and one small in many temples. Mostly in North India, there's just a big set and a small set. But in the original Pancharatra and Vaikhanasa, there's many sets, but the movable sets are all invoked every day from the main deity. And sometimes in some temples they use different mantras, mula mantras, for the other sets. So, for instance, in Sri Rangam they use Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, 12-syllable mantra for the main deity, and then they might use 8-syllable and 6-syllable mantras for other deities. There are 3 main Vishnu mantras: 6-syllable, 8-syllable, and 12-syllable. So it gets complicated. Temple worship gets complicated. Okay, home worship is a lot easier, and shalagram at home, that's the easiest.